out-of-the-ordinary insights. Brought to you by Investec Specialist Bank.
Welcome to Captains of Industry. We're here at the World Economic Forum for Africa, the 23rd edition, and with me now is the CEO of Philips, that's Frans van Houten. In fact, to be precise, the CEO of Royal Philips Electronics. Frans, thanks very much for joining us today. Before we get into the whole business of Africa and your presence here, just tell us a bit about your background, because I know you started at Philips a long time ago, 1986.
Yeah, I was born in Eindhoven, so I'm the city where Philips, of course, has its headquarters. So from early age I've seen innovation, and innovation has always inspired me. But I've also realized through my youth, for example, I bought my first computer in 1980, that technology can be very disruptive. And unless you move with that evolution, you can become obsolete, or you become less relevant, even as a person. So continuous learning and all the time going to the new thing, that is very, very important to me personally, as I see what impact it can have, both as an opportunity as well as a threat.
So you're not just saying that you're in the job for the money and to make profits for shareholders and your fellow workers, you're also talking about advancing humanity almost.
Not almost, absolutely. I believe in a long-term, sustainable way of doing business. I believe that as a person, that those are my own values, but I also believe that it's important for a company. So just optimizing for the quarter and forgetting about the long term is not a good way to do business. Not adhering to your business principles, that would also not go well with me. So I strongly believe that business needs to take a full stakeholder approach, where the interests of customers are met, but we also provide the best place to work for our employees so that they engage on our mission and that we provide a great return for shareholders. So the whole thing has to come together.
Holistic approach and also sustainability must be an important word in your boardroom. Sustainability.
Yeah, sustainability is absolutely important. So I already mentioned sustainability in how you do business, but in terms of the mission of a company, and we have rephrased the mission and vision of the company to make the world healthier and more sustainable through innovation. We look at the world's challenges. For example, the Millennium Goals, where we all are concerned about energy and energy efficiency, about health, about food and water. And we have said at Philips, if we align our future to those opportunities, those challenges, we call them opportunities, we can actually innovate and create a very good position for Philips to grow the company in a very profitable way, because we are focused on areas where maybe other competitors are not yet putting their attention.
Yeah, well that sort of shift in focus was something that came out when I saw you on CNBC Europe on the occasion of your results being released a few weeks ago. You announced a 30% increase in profit, but you also told everyone about the way that you have changed your focus. For example, you've moved away from TV and audio visual, etc., to other areas. Tell us about the way you've changed.
Yeah, this is quite a drastic change to our portfolio. It's never easy to depart from businesses that you have been in for half a century. Yet we felt it was important to do, as the profit pools of some of those businesses had declined, and then you can work very hard, but it does not move the needle in terms of value creation. So we have said it's important that our engineering prowess, our technology and innovation capability, let's apply that to those areas that still have many unmet needs. Unmet needs in healthcare, in energy efficient lighting, and in people's well-being. We see that in those areas there will be growth higher than GDP. There are not yet that many competitors. We can create intellectual property and we can carve out strong leadership positions for our company.
But also, I suppose, shrinking margins in the competition from countries like South Korea, for example.
I mean, it's a reality that, that Asian competition is strong, but typically focused at mass markets, where we, by our focus on meaningful innovation and relevancy in the local market, we team up with, for example, hospitals and specialists in order to design the right solutions for them. So we believe that innovation needs to work for people in the local context. And it is this ability to really get close to our customers and to understand their needs, also through open innovation to co-create better solutions. And I can give you an example in a minute, that we create a competitive position for ourselves. A great example is how we work with university hospitals in the next way to treat cancer. We believe that radiation therapy or chemotherapy are like shotgun approaches to this disease, and it does as much damage to the personal body as it does good. So by targeting the treatment and using even ultrasound, highly focused ultrasound waves, we can heat up a tumor and kill it. In this way, by collaborating, we have invented it, and we can bring better healthcare, which has better outcomes for patients. But you can imagine it's also more cost effective for the healthcare system, and which government would not want to have a more affordable healthcare system.
You sound very passionate about healthcare. You've got healthcare, you've got consumer lifestyle products, and you've got lighting, but healthcare seems to be at the top of the list, certainly from your point of view.
Well, healthcare is 40% of the Philips business. We know that the world population will grow from 7 billion to 9 billion people, and that people will live longer with non-communicable diseases, so chronic diseases like cardiovascular, pulmonary, and cancer. These are the challenges that need solutions, and we are convinced that technology and innovation can bring better solutions to a domain that is still dominated by labor and by pharmaceuticals. So we of course need that, but the balance will shift. And also healthcare needs to get out of the tertiary hospital into the home and into community healthcare centers. So there's a lot to be done through technology to make healthcare delivery better. I am equally passionate about lighting. We are here at the WEF in Cape Town. Let's realize that many hundreds of millions of people in Africa still do not have access to the electricity grid. They don't have lighting, and basically their activity ceases when the sun sets. Bringing lighting to villages, and we have a whole program with light pitches into villages where the kids can play soccer. Around the light pitch, we see that economic activity continues into the evening. Kids can read books and study. We also have solar-driven LED lights for in the huts.
Are you a market leader in the lighting field?
Philips is by far the world's largest lighting leader, but we have realized that even though with our global prowess, you still need local solutions here in Africa. And so we have designed products for this market, and we are keenly working with entrepreneurs in the local markets to create business models that where people can have access to this light without paying up front, because they may not be able to afford that. But if you go to a business model where the light is rented or leased, and the local entrepreneur makes, gets payments on a daily or weekly basis, suddenly what is seen as a high-tech solution, solar panels, batteries, LED lighting, can be an affordable solution in the local context.
What about, where does that leave us with the consumer lifestyle products, the so-called white goods? Now that's third, and it seems to be third on your list of priorities and your list of passions, but still important to Philips, obviously.
Well, you're keeping track, but our lifestyle division is 25% of Philips. Again, looking for local relevance, we are convinced that we need first to solve the problems of preparing food in the rural communities. Today on open wood fires there is very bad fumes and smoke that cause pulmonary disease in the mothers, in the children, and causes actually a lot of agony for the people, but eventually also big healthcare cost. So solving that through, for example, very effective wood stoves that have no fumes and that burn at 1/10 of the fuel is a great way to make lives better for the people, but also to deal with the environmental problem where wood is chopped in an irresponsible manner.
You've got 118,000 employees worldwide, you're in 100 countries. How difficult is it for you as the CEO of this global empire to keep track of what's going on, particularly when you look at the differences between what a European needs and what an African needs?
When I became CEO 2 years ago, we realized that growth would come from new territories. Like Indonesia or Africa or China and so on. And clearly the needs of these markets are different from the Western markets like Europe and the United States. In order to get local relevance, we have strengthened our employee base in the countries, and we have flipped the business model where we listen to the needs of the markets and bring that back to our global businesses in order to create the right solutions, rather than having the global units say, here's the products and go sell them. So this is a paradigm shift within Philips in how we want to do business, so that our what we call business market combinations are much more on an equal footing, and where the needs of the markets are listened to and responded to. In Africa, we will have to have many local for local solutions because of issues like affordability, but also, as I already mentioned, there is no electricity grid in large parts of the continent.
We're going to talk after the break about more about your presence in Africa and also what you think about the World Economic Forum and what you're hoping to get out of it. But just before we go there, your African base, is that South Africa?
We are setting up in multiple countries our own office, again for reasons of local relevance. We are running the Philips operations from Johannesburg, but we have expanded in the meantime into countries like Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, and we are of course also in the north of Africa, but I think the focus here is on the sub-Sahara activities. And as we expand and expand our workforce, I think we will be better able to achieve the ambitious growth goals that we have set for ourselves.